Hi, welcome to this episode of Gridiron TV. I'm your host as usual, Stuart Young, and again I'm joined by Alan Price. And on tonight's show we're going to be talking all about the fixtures from the weekend, from the Plate playoff games and also the Championship playoff games.
Indeed, and we'll also be talking with the NTU Renegades to find out how they got on at the weekend and talk about their season in general so far.
And also we'll be talking about the up-and-coming senior season, which is taking place and starts in April this year. And each week we'll be looking at a conference from the National Division, also from the Premier League as well. So don't go away, Gridiron TV will be right back. And welcome back to Gridiron TV. Now Alan, we had the playoffs started this weekend. Let's start with the Plate and let's start with the Manchester Tyrants. Now they're through to the next round.
Yeah, exciting match though. Only just 0-0 after full time. A little bit of speculation, some false scores coming out early on, but turned out it was 0-0 after full time. 0-0 after first overtime, 0-0 after second overtime, and well, eventually, regardless of the overtime, it was 14 points to 13. So a bit of a heartbreaking loss for Kent there, but amazing come round for Manchester, who didn't do. They've kind of been building over the last couple of years, and now look, they're into the quarterfinals. So congratulations to them.
Absolutely, and a big result for them as well, and huge confidence booster as well going to the next round. If we look at the BNU Buccaneers, they overcame the Gloucester Gladiators 28-25. Another close game as well.
Yeah, exactly. No overtime in this one, but again, 3 points in it, so just one score. So we'll talk about their fixtures coming up, but they get the reward from the win, but it's a bit of a double-edged sword given the travel it'll have to go in the next round.
Absolutely. But we see the NTU Renegades again. They demolished the UAE Pirates 48-12 at the weekend, and people were expecting a bit closer to the game because the UAE Pirates have been playing fantastic the whole season. Yeah.
Then of course they were in the playoffs previously, so I think a lot of people expected it to be closer than that, but it was never really. The scoreline suggests it was never really close. I'm sure it was actually a tough physical game by both teams' accounts. They're showing respect to each other, but a comfortable victory for the Renegades there.
Absolutely. And we've seen the Edinburgh Predators travel to the Leeds Celtics as well with 34-13 win for Leeds. Yeah. And unfortunate for the Edinburgh Predators because they don't have a massive squad, unfortunately, but they've travelled all the way down there, and they've given themselves some credit, and credit to the Saltire division.
There before as well, they've had to travel before in the playoffs, and they missed out last time, missed out again, but at least you say you make the playoffs, so that's something to build on for next year.
And hopefully they can build on their team for next year as well, and try and get more bodies, and hopefully we'll see them progress further in the competition next year as well. Yeah. Well, let's look at the next round of the playoff games, Alan. It's this weekend. Who we got? What kind of mouth-watering fixtures do we have?
Well, we'll talk about the Manchester Tyrants. They now travel to Southampton to face the Stags, so another perennial team that have been to the playoffs a lot of times. They may have been disappointed to miss out on the National Championship playoffs, but they certainly want to make amends by getting this Plate Championship.
Absolutely, and we see the BNU Buccaneers, a huge distance to travel all the way to Glasgow as well. Now that's going to be a tiring journey for them.
I mean, if we look at they've got the distances written down here. So Manchester to Southampton, about 220 or so miles, pretty far. We also got NTU will be travelling to Cambridge to face the Pythons. That's the shortest journey. It's only 90 miles, so very similar to what they've been facing in their normal regular season games. Leeds travelling through to face the Warwick Wolves, about 120 or so miles. But then you've got BNU travelling to Glasgow, 370 or so miles. So most of the length of the country there. So they do get through to the quarterfinals. So congratulations to them. But good luck for that travel.
Absolutely, and good luck to all the teams who are involved in this weekend's fixtures in the Plate. And Alan, let's go on to the Championship now. We'll look at the Championship. Big mouth-watering games here as well. Birmingham Lions 50-0 winners over Leeds Carnegie. Yeah, you didn't really see past Birmingham on that one, did you?
No, it was comfortable all the way. Not much more to add. A couple of injury scares for them during the game. Hopefully they'll be all set for the next round.
And the big upset, obviously, we'll say upset with Bath Bees are a fantastic squad as well. Got to the Plate finals last year and lost to Sheffield Sabres. But then obviously they go and take on Loughborough and win 14-13. A great scalp to take.
Yeah, we saw Loughborough facing Birmingham actually just a couple of weeks ago. Looked very impressive, and the kind of went behind a little bit, came back, looked like they're going to win, came down to the last few seconds of the game, Bath pull it out. So congratulations to them. Heartbreak for Loughborough. They've been saying that it's very difficult to lose like that.
Absolutely as well, absolutely. And we see the Kingston Cougars take on the Portsmouth Destroyers. Another very close game again, 22-18 winners for Portsmouth.
A tough physical game, this one. So all these games are so close. It's tough to lose like that, but it shows the kind of calibre of wanting to win for these teams.
Yeah. And we see last year's Plate winners, the Sheffield Sabres. absolutely demolishing the UWE Pirates 48-6. Now, we watched them and witnessed the Sheffield Sabres take on the Bath Calabees last year, and a phenomenal performance, deserved winners off the plate last year. Can they go all the way this time?
Quite possibly. I mean, they lost out to Derby at home at the end of the season to miss out on that undefeated, so they'll be wanting to get payback for that if they can get through to the final. We've seen them a couple of times through the season. They're a good unit together, so they know what playoffs are like, and hopefully for them they'll want to get through there.
Absolutely. So let's look at the playoff structure for this weekend, the 10th of March. On Sunday we have the big game, Stirling Klansmen against the Birmingham Lions. Now this is a clash of the titans. We saw one a couple of weeks ago. We spoke about the MAC Championship with Loughborough and Birmingham. This is huge. This is the champions of Scotland against one of the best teams in England at the moment. And it's too hard to call. It really is too hard to call.
It is. Some people will say that. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people watching saying, "Oh, no way, Birmingham will definitely win." Then there's others will say, "No way, Stirling will win." So yeah, a lot of people will be watching this one. We'll be there to do some coverage there as well. So we're looking forward to seeing it. Another big travel there, 300 odd miles there. So another test for Birmingham to get up there. And great that Stirling, for them, that they have that home field advantage.
Absolutely.
Both they've had their undefeated seasons. Now it's a chance to see what happens at different ends of the country.
Absolutely. And we look at the Bath Calabees against the Hull Sharks as well. Another close game predicted there? Quite
possibly. A lot of people have been impressed with Hull, especially the last couple of years. Actually, they've been kind of building on their team. But we talked about Bath before, wanting to get back to the finals. That victory against Loughborough is going to be huge for them. I think it's going to really boost the spirit of the guys. They sound like they're really happy about that, really proud of what they did to pull out that win. And I'm sure they'll take that momentum into the next round. Yeah, and we talked about the game as well, Portsmouth Destroyers against the Derby Braves. Another big win. Derby Braves got the home field advantage. I think that's going to benefit them, obviously. Quite possibly, we'll look at that. So it's a bit of a shorter trip, but I suppose when we come to playoffs, really, it's always fairly long trips at least. But Derby finishing the season on a high, so they'll be wanting to keep that momentum going. And I think a lot of Portsmouth have shown they're a very tough physical team, so it's whether Derby can sort of weather that and give enough fight back to hold them off. And obviously we see the national champions, the Hertfordshire Hurricanes again, who are in action at home. They were obviously number 1 seed. They're going up against the Sheffield Sabres. Now this is going to be a cracking match to watch as well. This, if you're in the Hertfordshire area on Sunday, please get down and watch this game, because this is going to be huge. This is the plate championship champions from last year against the national champions of last year. Alan, give me a prediction on this one. It's hard to look past Hertfordshire because they've been so smooth all year. I think Sheffield have had sort of a bumpier road, although they've had a really good season, so they will put up a fight. I'd probably say Hertfordshire, but not as a guarantee. It really comes down to them. They're going to have to focus on this and make sure they don't slow down or assume anything. Absolutely not, and both teams have had great seasons, and we saw Sheffield having a fantastic win. Their confidence is going to be up as well. But Hertfordshire well rested. They've had a week off. Now it's back to the grind, and they've got a big game ahead of them. So good luck to all the teams that are participating in this weekend's playoff games as well. And bear in mind, we'll keep you up to date with the scores as they happen on Gridiron TV, on our Twitter page at Gridiron_TV, and also on our Facebook page, Gridiron TV. Now don't go away, Gridiron TV. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back, and to wrap up our coverage of playoffs here, we managed to catch up with the NTU Renegades to find out about their victory at the weekend and also how their season has gone so far.
Well, we're joined now by NTU Renegades and Marcus Boswell. Marcus, thanks very much for joining us.
No worries.
Congratulations on the weekend. 48 points to 12, very comfortable victory. What was it like for the team?
It was good fun, to be honest. The first half, we seemed to click in all phases of the game. Danny Miller really put on a show for us, kept the offense driving on the couple of times that we did stall, and defense really held their own, really. We've been struggling, since the inception of the Renegades, really, with the run of the middle. It's not an uncommon thing with the Renegades to struggle, but we've really stepped our game up. 2 rookie tackles. Doing what was necessary, really, against a very good running back. So overall, I was very happy with the first half, and we managed to keep that going into the second half, even when UEA came back at us.
Yeah, and Danny sat next to you. So what was it like from your perspective, obviously building on the success of the season so far? Second highest scoring offense in the MAC. So sending out another big message to the rest of the people still in contention that you've got plenty of firepower in that team.
Yeah, absolutely. We're very proud of that as an offense and also as a defense, because they've also contributed to that high-powered offense by holding teams 3 and out and giving us the actual chance to score. But I think as an offense and as a team, the improvement that we've had from the beginning of the season to now I think it's just stellar. We said at the beginning of the season, once we click, we can be a very dangerous team, and it's happened in the past. I think as a team, we click at the right time, and that's exactly what's happening right now. We have so many weapons on offense, and we're utilizing them in every game, scoring on the first drives, and we're not letting our foot off the gas pedal, and I think that is going to help us along the way for the next 3 weeks, hopefully.
Yeah, you've got Cambridge coming up now, so another trip through to them. What are your thoughts on that team?
They wouldn't be a bad team if they weren't here, if they weren't in the playoffs, this stage of the playoffs. So they're obviously going to be a good side, but you can't go into any game being scared of anyone. You got to be confident with everything you do, but not too confident. They will be a good game. If they lose or we lose, it will be our last game of the season. So both of us will be trying as hard as we can. But it comes down to who wants it more and who has a better game plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's going to actually be able to convert and take their chances? But we look at the rest of the matchups here. You've got a reasonably short trip to Cambridge. On the flip side of it, you've got teams like BNU travelling most of the length of the country to face Glasgow. So you've managed to almost get a favourable turn there by having the shorter road trip. So it's not necessarily going to affect you as much, do you think?
You know what? Last year and this year, actually in my first year as well, we've traveled away to every single one of our playoffs games. We've been to Edinburgh. We've been to Cardiff.
Yeah.
We've been all around the country. So I think we are a very good traveling team. So I don't care if we're going again to Glasgow. I don't care if we're going down to the bottom of England. We'll get off that bus and we'll wake up, and as soon as we step on that field, it's game time. I don't really care where we have to go.
Absolutely. It's a great mentality to have. And how are the team feeling after the weekend?
I think they're on a big high. I know after the game, especially, you get those chills after a play. You get those chills after a big win, and I know I felt them. I know everyone on the field felt them. I know the coaches felt them, and I think that's going to carry in big time to next week's game. And I think that having that game and feeling that energy and feeling that great feeling actually is an advantage to having a bye week, because those come off, 2 weeks. They might have 2 weeks to prepare for us, but we're coming off a huge win, and we're buzzing, and we're ready to play some football.
Well, we're really looking forward to watching the match and obviously watching all the other ones. So trying to keep an eye on who's going to make it to that next step. So thanks very much for joining us. Good luck for the weekend. And hopefully we'll be seeing you again victorious.
Thank you very much, Alan.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Well, thank you very much to the Renegades there. Now let's move on to the National Leagues now, Stuart. Let's have a look at the divisional structure first of all. We've seen a few teams move. We've had a real change overall, so the expansion of the Premiership and now the National League. So we're going to have a look through Premiership North to start off with this week. Focus on a few of the teams. We'll start with one of the new teams who we saw in the Division 2 final at Britbowl, the Sheffield Predators. A little bit of a step up for them.
It's a huge step for them, and it's a massive step for the Sheffield Predators, but a team certainly is more than capable of certainly challenging and competing within teams such as West Coast Trojans and East Kilbride Pirates and Tamworth Phoenix, etc. People who have been there, done it, got the t-shirt and been in this division for some time. The first game obviously is at home on the 5th of May against the West Coast Trojans. Now we know the West Coast Trojans got to the final last year and were narrowly beaten by the Sussex Thunder. So two good teams here. We're going to match up in the first game of the season away at home, away for the Trojans, at home for Sheffield. So it'll be quite interesting one to see for them there. But then they go on the last game of the fixture as well is away to Yorkshire Rams. So certainly what they need to be doing is beating teams like Coventry Jets, Birmingham Bulls, and try and keep themselves within that league.
I suppose one of the questions that's gone around is they obviously have the different style of offense, the double wing. So it worked out very well for them in Division 2. Obviously took them to the national championships. But is it going to continue working for them this year, or is it going to be the certain type of Premier calibre that they're just going to see through it, or just knock through it and
I think they're going to have to come with something different. These teams now, and I'll guarantee you, people like Gary McNay, head coach of the West Coast Trojans, and also the East Kilbride Pirates and teams like that, who will be looking at that footage. They will be looking at them, they will be studying them like crazy. And we spoke to Matthew Davies, who's part of the the East Kilbride Pirates as well. He knows all about the double wing. They're going to have to come up with something different this time. They're not going to basically bypass these teams just using the one offence. They're going to have to come up and try and change it up. Not get rid of it completely. It's going to work at some stage. And I'll tell you now, people said he's not going to win a national championship or a double wing. Well, they proved it last year. Are they going to win a Premier? Probably not. Let's be honest. But they're going to have to make a few changes.
Yep, well, it'll be exciting to see how teams react to that and how they react to other Premiership teams. We'll move on to another one, and now the Tamworth Phoenix. So a lot of changes in the off-season, a lot of new coaches coming in. So they've totally changed the structure, new head coach, a lot of new assistant coaches. They're just competed in a little scrimmage against Leicester at the weekend, so they're getting the ball rolling now, getting them into sort of full game action, getting ready for the season.
And that's key. The key thing is, obviously, for teams now are preparing for pre-season friendlies, and the earlier you get in there, the quicker you can start seeing your players play, or your rookies. Give them some time, give them some experience before the regular season starts. And also, as you mentioned, the new coaching structure, is it going to work? We don't know. No one ever knows. The guys that come in, I'm sure they're very experienced and they'll know exactly what to do. But they done okay last year. They done all right. They got to the playoffs. So I reckon they'll be there or thereabouts at the top of the division by the end of the season as well.
Absolutely, they have performed. They've been around a long time, so they'll certainly want to prove themselves. And we go on to another one, West Coast Trojans. You mentioned them before, finalist last year, back in the Premiership now. Good number of players in that team who were formerly in the Premiership with different teams around the league, so they'll want to get a chance. And it brings up the Glasgow rivalry against the Pirates, so it's one that both teams, I'm sure, will be desperate to play.
It's going to be massive. It's going to be a massive fixture from we look here as well. It's in week 3, 12th of May. It's actually at home as well in Troon. So no one likes travelling to Troon. This is the thing, and this is where Gary McNay, his team are well drilled. They're a cracking side to watch. Really good offensively. Don't give very much up defensively either. So a lot of teams are going to be travelling to Troon. It's a long, long way, and this sort of plays right into their hands. And they're certainly, I'm going to pick the West Coast Trojans, one of the contenders for this division this year.
Well, it's a bold claim, but then again, they have been rising up. A lot of people said they wouldn't make it to the final this year. The rumours are they're folding and so on. So, well, they're keen to prove people wrong.
Rumours are unfounded, obviously.
I'm sure. Yeah. So let's move on. We've got the Yorkshire Rams there again, wanting to actually do better and better than the last couple of years. Want to compete against these sides. They've got a chance against some of these newer teams to really bring you guys in and then also show what they're like, because they've had a lot of success in previous years. Yeah,
they have, and they've always been thereabouts in the Premier League as well. But are they contenders? No. I don't believe they are. Are they going to be middle table? Possibly, yes. They're going to they potentially could cause upsets here against West Coast and the East Kilbride Pirates, but I think those teams like that will be too strong for them. I think they'll sort of finish mid-table. They'll beat the likes of your Birmingham Bulls, possibly your Sheffield Sabres, but who knows what changes they've made. They've been quite quiet recently, so it's quite difficult to see what's kind of player influx they've had over the pre-seasons as well. So, but you know what? Don't discount them. They're a very good quality side. They're very well coached indeed, and it's certainly a team you need to keep one eye on.
Definitely. Well, here we follow up that with the Nottingham Caesars. Coach Bosley and the rest of his crew had a pretty good year last year, but they'll want to go a step further. We did see a lot of highlights of the team coming out with some close victories last year, but that's kind of a bit nerve-wracking, so they'll want to be planning for themselves to get these big, huge leads, 20, 30 point victories to take pressure off them, really.
Absolutely, and you see the first games against Doncaster Mustangs as well, a team they're more than capable of beating, and then they've got 2 home games against Doncaster Mustangs again at home, and at Coventry Jets. So that's 3 games that certainly the Nottingham Caesars could be looking to win, and that would certainly propel them and give them so much confidence in the first 3 weeks. And it's very, very key that these are the 3 key games for them this season. Win these games, beat teams such as them, and take your chances on the likes of East Kilbride Pirates and West Coast Trojans and even Sheffield Sabres. So really, these 3 games are key for them. Just get the win under the belts and give their team a bit of confidence.
Just get some confidence and get them going, get some momentum going. Well, here we go. We've got Lancashire Wolverines next up. A great academy set up from some youth already to senior. They've been so excited to be in the Premiership this year, and a lot of plans been made to build on the top of previous success. So great atmosphere in the team at the moment, and I'm sure they'll want to start off with a win. First game away to Tamworth, so a bit of a challenge for them.
Absolutely is, and this is what they've got to be watchful of as well. Away at Tamworth Phoenix, very, very difficult. Potential banana skin for them, but when we spoke to like Carol Freeman, we know what the structure and the setup is in Lancashire, and they're getting great quality young players, young athletes coming through the ranks, which is absolutely key for any team. I don't know much about them. I don't know much about the senior team, if I'm being perfectly honest, but you know what? I've played against them. I played against them when I played for the Edinburgh Wales a couple of times, and they were a good side then as well. So I don't see much changing. Again, probably like the Yorkshire Rams, need to get their fixtures against the smaller teams, against Birmingham Bulls, etc., and then try and get their chances against the bigger teams. And you know what? They've got the capabilities. They've got a lot of really good young athletes there.
Yeah. So whatever happens this year, they'll have a chance to develop that next year.
Absolutely.
Well, let's continue with Coventry Jets. Do they have what it takes to change the team, bring them back to Championship ways?
Do you know what? It was one of the teams that everybody feared at one point. You know, the Coventry Jets were always going to win the national titles. You know, they had a great squad, had great facilities in the Coventry City Stadium, the Ricoh Stadium, I believe. Ricoh Stadium they had, and it just seemed to have gone sort of downhill a little bit in regards to facilities and obviously the team as well. No, I don't. I think they're going to finish bottom table, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. I don't think they've got what it takes to kind of challenge for the Premier North. But do you know what? Stranger things happen in football. It's really odd. It's any given Sunday, as it used that old cliche. Who knows? I'd like to see them back up there again. I don't think they can.
Okay. Well, a little challenge for you out there. If you're a Coventry Jets fan and you disagree, then do let us know. Send us your messages on Twitter or Facebook, or any of the other teams, in fact. Even if you're a Doncaster Mustangs fan, we talked to them. Their first game's at Nottingham, and their second game is away to Nottingham. So, funny when you get to face the same team twice at the start of the year. It gets both games out of the way, and then you just forget about that team effectively.
Pretty much, yeah.
So it's always strange to start out the season that way.
Yeah. It is, and you know what? It's one of these games where it can go either way. No one knows really who's going to win that game. It could go 1-1. You don't 1 each. You don't know that. But certainly, yeah, I totally agree. Let's get one team gone. Let's concentrate on someone else. You don't have to say, right, that was a difficult game. We need to create another plan for them further down the line. Get them out of the way, that's it done. But let's look at the winners from last year's division, you know, the East Kilbride Pirates. Again, strong favourites to win this division again. We saw them in the semi-final against London Blitz, pushed London Blitz all the way in that game. Unfortunately, Blitz, who were then now eventual national champions, won that game in a very, very close match. And certainly they're going to be up there. They're going to be in the semi-finals again, I believe. And it's going to be a strong division to get out of. But they're a strong side, and you know, I've heard Amanda McDonald talking about the recruitment process I've had in place. These guys have been pre-season training since the latter part of last year as well. Once a week, they've got out there and they're really pushing. They want to be national champions next year, and you know what? I think they can be. If I'm being honest and not being biased, being Scottish or anything like that, I genuinely believe they have what it takes to be national champions, but they're going to have to go through a London team first to get there. Yeah,
it must have been heartbreaking to lose in the semi-final, to have a great chance and just not being able to turn it into a victory. So I'm sure they will do just as well, or maybe take that one step further and get into the final.
Absolutely, and it's going to be a tough one, but getting past the London team is not easy. Absolutely not easy at all. And you know, Coach Allan and Coach Moss are certainly going to have a fight in their hands against a team such as the East Kilbride Pirates if they make it that far. So we'll see what happens there. But Emilio, the last team as well, Birmingham Bulls. Not a great season last year, unfortunately. They've been shoved into the Premier League this year. I think this year they can use that as a learning curve. I think what they need to do is try and win games against Doncaster, but maybe try against Tamworth, against the Yorkshire Rams as well, to have any kind of chance of staying in that division. This is a big time for them. It's a big move. Can they cope? Yes, I think they can. They've got the coaches in place. They've got some really good quality players as well. I think they've had some tough luck, some close results last year that could have went either way. But I think they'll stay within that division. But this is a learning year for them. This is a step up, learn from it, move on to next year, I think.
Okay, there have been some changes in the coaching crew as well as the management and behind the scenes crew. So we'll wait and see how they've gelled and what they're going to come out with as well. And there'll be a big push for them actually on the sort of junior side as well. They're younger teams looking to compete and get through to the finals as well.
Absolutely, and certainly, good luck to all the teams. It's just what our personal opinions on the league and the way it's going to go, and we'll do that with every league leading up to the actual season starting in the start of April. But if you want to get in contact with us, if you want to sort of promote your team, and come on and we'll have an interview with yourself, let us know how you're getting on pre-season and what you've done to try and recruit new players. Get in contact with us on our Facebook page, just at Gridiron TV.
Yeah, or you can follow us on Twitter at gridiron_TV. You can also keep an eye on score updates throughout the season for the last couple of playoff games for the university, and then moving into seniors as well. Also, leave us any comments or any opinions, and we can have a chat with you on Twitter.
Absolutely, and also you can go onto our website. You can see latest and up-to-date videos on episodes of Gridiron TV at www.gridirontv.co.uk.
And you can email us at info@gridirontv.co.uk.
And before we go, make sure you get on our Facebook page and like it, Gridiron TV on Facebook. We've got our up-to-date app there for the road to the uni finals in Leeds at the end of March, and you can keep tabs on the up-and-coming fixtures, scores, results, etc., etc. So, from myself and from Alan and from everybody here at Gridiron TV, thank you for watching. Until next week, bye-bye for now.
Goodbye.